My name is Jonathan. I'm 58 years old. And on the afternoon of March 21st, 2024, in the heart of my Manhattan penthouse, surrounded by everything the world calls success, I collapsed. At that moment, I was worth 4.22 billion. I owned luxury hotels in 12 countries. I had a fleet of private jets, estates I'd never stepped foot in, art that hung on walls I barely looked at. I had everything, except the one thing money could never buy: peace. You see, I grew up in a crumbling neighborhood in Detroit. My father worked himself to the bone just to keep the lights on. I made a silent vow as a boy, clutching my rumbling stomach in the dark. I will never be poor again. By 25, I was flipping houses. By 35, I ran a real estate empire. And by 50, acquiring companies like toys on a billionaire's shelf. Money became my oxygen. Without it, I couldn't breathe. That Thursday started like any other. I was yelling into a conference call, furious over a deal that was bleeding millions. And then pain, a deep, burning pressure in my chest. But I shrugged it off. Yeah, I always did. Pain, I told myself, was for people who couldn't afford to power through it. Then my left arm went numb. The room began to twist. I reached for my phone and darkness swallowed me. But I didn't die. Not exactly. I was outside of my body, floating above my lifeless frame sprawled across my leather couch. I watched my assistant Sandra shake me, her face soaked in panic, screaming into her phone for help. And yet I felt nothing. No fear. No ache. Just a silence so complete it was holy. A weightless peace that wrapped around me like I'd never known. Then, the light, but it wasn't blinding. It was soft, alive, like it had a soul of its own, and it pulled me forward. I stepped into a place that looked like nothing on earth, rolling hills of the softest green, a sky that sang, an air so gentle it felt like love itself. That's when I saw him, a man walking toward me. His clothes were plain. His presence was anything, but he wasn't rich, handsome. He was truth, handsome. His eyes held galaxies. Every star I'd ever wished upon. Every dream I'd buried in my climb to the top. When he looked at me, it was like being truly seen for the first time. Jonathan, he said. His voice wasn't thunder. It was warmth. It was home. And in that instant, I knew. I whispered, trembling, Jesus. Tears poured down my face. Tears I didn't know I still had. He smiled. And something in my soul shattered. Decades of hardness cracked open. I've been waiting for you, he said. But I haven't thought of you in years. I stammered. I haven't prayed. I haven't set foot in a church since I was a kid. I've done terrible things for money. I've hurt people. He raised his hand gently. I know, he said. Come, let me show you something. We began walking, and with every step, it felt like layers of armor were peeling off. The fear, the paranoia, the loneliness I had buried beneath my wealth. It all floated away like smoke in a breeze. Jonathan, he said as we walked through this heavenly place, do you want to see what your money really did? I hesitated, then nodded. He extended his hand, and suddenly I was seeing my life play out before me, not through my eyes, but his. I didn't see the skyscrapers I owned or the zeros in my accounts. I saw giving, quiet, secret giving, paying off hospital bills for strangers who couldn't breathe the weight of debt, buying groceries for single moms who prayed for miracles I didn't even know I was answering, funding scholarships for hungry kids who reminded me of boy I used to be. I saw myself in soup kitchens, not cutting checks, but serving food with my hands. I saw myself weeping with families, not from pity, but because I finally understood their pain. This, Jesus said, is what your life could be. This is who you can become. I want that. I whispered, more than I've ever wanted anything. I want to go back. I want to fix what I broke. I want to love more than I earned. I want to be free. He looked at me with the gentleness of a father and said, Then go back, Jonathan. Love your family. Love your enemies. Give your wealth away and watch how rich your soul becomes. Serve, heal, and discover the power the world will never understand. What if I fall? I asked, my voice cracking. What if I get lost again? What if the money calls to me? Then call to me, he answered. I'll be there. I've always been there. You were never meant to carry this burden alone. His form began to fade, but his voice lingered. Tell them, Jonathan. Tell them money is a tool, not a master. That the richest soul is the one who has learned to love without keeping score. Tell them true treasure is stored in heaven, where no thief can reach it and no bank can bind it. And just like that, I was being pulled back. I didn't want to go the piece there. It felt like home. But I knew I had work to do, love to give. Chains to break, not just mine, but the chains wrapped around the hearts of those still trapped in the illusion of success. I woke up in Mount Sinai Hospital, a breathing tube down my throat, machines beeping. A doctor leaned over me, stunned. Mr. Vale, you were clinically dead for 23 minutes. We don't understand how you're here, let alone how you're neurologically intact. But I understood. I knew the very first thing I did after waking up was call my son. He answered with disbelief in his voice. Dad, are you okay? I heard you were in the hospital lot. David, as my throat tight, tears already pushing through. I love you. I love you more than any business deal, any dollar sign, any tower with my name on it. And I'm sorry, God, so sorry, for chasing wealth while you waited for a father. I paused, trembling. Will you have breakfast with me tomorrow? Just breakfast. No phones. No talk about money or mergers. Just me and you. There was a long silence. And then I heard him crying. I've been waiting my whole life for you to say that, Dad. Next, I called Emma, my daughter. She answered cautiously. I could hear the hesitation in her voice. For years, she'd braced herself for judgment, for lectures disguised as concern. But this time, I didn't offer advice or control. I offered love. I said softly, I'm so proud of you for getting clean, for choosing life. I love you. I love you, not for what you might achieve, but for who you are. Her voice cracked, and then she wept. Then came the hardest call of all. Rebecca, the woman I'd married 32 years ago. The woman whose love I had buried beneath a mountain of acquisitions and ambition. Rebecca, I said, voice shaking, I know you filed for divorce, and I know I gave you every reason to, but something happened. I died, and I met Jesus, and he showed me who I had become. I swallowed hard. I want to be the man you fell in love with again. I want to put you first, our family first. I want to be free. There was silence on the line. Then she spoke. Jonathan, you've said things like this before, after bad business deals, when you were trying to win me back. How do I know this is different? I closed my eyes and whispered the words that become my truth, because I'm giving it all away. The money, the mansions, the jets, almost everything. I'm keeping just enough for us to live simply, peacefully. The rest, it's going to the people who need it more than we ever did. She gasped. Jonathan, that's $4 billion. No, I said, it's 4 billion chains. And I'm finally the next year. I did exactly what I promised. I sold the skyscrapers, the resorts, the toys. I gave away 95% of my wealth to families suffocating in poverty, to shelters for the homeless, to programs helping the broken find wholeness again. And I kept just enough to buy a quiet house, not a mansion, a home, in a neighborhood where kids ride bikes and neighbors wave from porches. David and I have breakfast every Saturday now. We talk about books, music, his dream of becoming a teacher, not an investor. Emma just celebrated her 1-year sobriety milestone. I was there holding her hand as she accepted her chip, whispering, I'm proud of you. And meaning it with every fiber of my being. Rebecca and I were taking things slow. She's moved back in. Last night, we sat on our simple wooden porch. No marble, no fountains, just two people watching the stars. You look younger, she told me, brushing her hand across my face. You look like the man I married, the one who dreamed of changing the world, not owning it. These days, I volunteer at a food bank 3 times a week. I wear old jeans and serve warm meals to people who used to scare me when I passed them on the street. But now I see them the way Jesus sees them, as his beloved, just struggling through hard seasons. Some recognize me from the news. Most don't. And that's okay, because they don't need a billionaire. They need someone to look them in the eye and say, "You mattered, and I am honored to be that someone." You want to know the strangest part? I've never felt richer. When I had billions, I lived in constant fear of loss of control, of reputation, of power. I never slept peacefully, not once. Now that I've let it all go, I sleep like a child. My son hugs me just because he wants to. My daughter calls me just to talk. My wife smiles at me like she used to, before money got in the way. I know some people think I've lost my mind, but I haven't lost my mind. I've found my soul. I had a real near-death experience. I met God. I saw Jesus. And he showed me the cost of loving money more than people, the price of letting greed own you. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens $1 at a time. If you're watching this and you're caught in the same trap if you're chasing wealth while your family waits for you to come home, let me tell you something, you don't have to die to change your life. You can start right now. Call someone you love. Tell them they matter more than your portfolio. Give something away. Not for applause, not for a tax break, but because it's what your heart was made for. And then look in the mirror and ask yourself the question that changed my life forever. Are using money to love people or using people to love money? Jesus told me something I'll never forget. The treasure stored in heaven, that's the only treasure that lasts. Every act of love, every word of kindness, every single dollar you give away to lift someone else, that's treasure. Treasure no thief can steal. No recession can shrink. No stock market can touch. I used to believe the richest man was the one who died with the most. Now I know the richest man is the one who dies with the most love. And love, real love, it doesn't cost a thing, but it will cost you everything else. My name is Jonathan Vale. I used to be a billionaire. Now I'm just a man who walked through death, met Jesus, and came back with a second chance at life. And I finally understand the best investment you can ever make is giving it all away.